and welcome back to another video. So this is going to be part 2 of the series. Again, through this video, I apologize if you hear any kind of breathing because my mic is still very sensitive and I cannot figure out how to make it not sensitive. So today I was thinking we could focus on adding some hair to the model. This is pretty simple. A lot of the steps that we did in the last video are going to be continued in on this video, and they're going to be very useful for this step as well. If you haven't seen that last video and you don't know basic controls of Blender, I highly recommend you go and check it out just so you can get a good introduction and you can match us here at this point in the video as well. First and foremost, we're going to start with importing our desired hair. Okay, as you can tell, we have the mesh now in here. I am using DDY by Nessie. So now we're going to scale it and move it into where we want it to be, where it looks good on the model. I did teach you guys this in the last video, so make sure you reference back to that. As you can tell, we do have this tool selected, but we don't have anything shown here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to where it says Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. Make sure you have the armature selected when you do that. It's just going to make your life a lot easier. And remember what I said with the last video, that if you're going to be moving something around that already has a pre-existing armature, please make sure you select the armature and not the actual mesh. Let's get it where we want it. Okay, and for the most part she looks good here. As you can see right here, we have a bit of clipping through the back of the head. It's not a problem. I'll teach you how to fix that. We are going to click on the hair mesh. Make sure it is all highlighted. Come over here to where it says Object Mode. Go into Edit Mode. From here, we're going to come over here to this area up here. Click on this circle. Drop this down and make sure Connected Only is not selected, at least for this part. Select the area that's having a very obvious problem. Make sure over here that this Move tool is also selected. Now when you go to move it, you're going to notice that it's moving the entire mesh. Don't worry about that. Left click and hold your left click while you scroll inwards on your mouse wheel until you see this circle. It's going to pretty much gauge like what vertices it's going to be pulling. You don't need a lot of vertices to be pulled to fix this problem, so you just pull in that area and you can adjust it how you like it. For shits and giggles, let's say like a specific strand is like clipping through the head and you really want to fix it, but you don't want to touch any of the other individual strands. That is where we would come up here. That's where you would use the Connect Only tool. With the Connect Only tool, it's pretty easy, and it's only going to move the connecting mesh that you have selected with your vertices. So like if I select a vertice over here on this strand, it's only going to move that strand, nothing else. Anyway, now that we have the hair in place, as you can see, we have the two textures. We've got a black texture and a white texture. If you want to take one of the textures off and you want it to just be one texture, all you got to do is come over to this minus sign, press it, and you can take off the texture. I went over how to import textures and set up textures in the last video, so I'm not going to do that this video. So now let's just work on merging the hair onto the body base and the armature that it needs to be connected to. For now, I'm going to turn the hair mesh off, and I'm going to turn the face mesh off. On the main armature, we're going to turn that on. As you can tell, we've got two bones, right? This is connected to the hair. This is the main armature's bone. This bone right here in the middle, we're going to press tab to enter edit mode. I'm going to move this up so it's out of the way, and I'm also going to scale it down. Next, I'm going to come down here with this bone. As you can see, this bone right here is called DDY root. You can name it whatever you want to name it. I'm just going to name it short hair root. Spelling does not matter. Capitalization does not matter. And then I'm going to tab out to get out of edit mode. Okay. Now I'm going to turn the mesh of the hair back on. Click on the mesh, come down here with this upside down triangle labeled data, and I'm going to scroll all the way up. I went to the root bone. I'm going to label it head because now it will be weighted to the head bone instead of the root bone. You don't want the main part of your hair to be weighted to the root bone. So now, like in the last video, what we're going to do is instead of merging this to the body, we're going to be merging it to the face. Click on your first mesh right here, make sure the dominant mesh, which is going to be the face in this case, is the lighter color before you do anything. You can hit Control J and boom. After that, go to your armature for the hair. Once you have that selected and your dominant armature is the lighter color, you can come over here and you can hit Control J to merge them. With that being said, let's continue on to the next steps. I'm going to turn off the face and the body for this. It's going to give you guys a much clearer image of what is going on and what exactly I'm doing. So on the armature, I'm going to press tab to go into edit mode. I'm going to just do a quick click and drag to unselect all this stuff. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take this root bone. You're going to want to go to this bone down here, go to relations, parent, and parent that to the head. Now once you start getting a lot of bones, it's going to be harder to see everything. So what you can also do is you can come here to armature. Anything that's under just direct armature, if it's not labeled hips, it needs to be connected to something. Whether it's an arm ribbon and you need to connect it to the arm, a leg ribbon, you need to connect it to the leg, so on and so forth. But for now, since we're working with hair, we're going to automatically see, oh, okay, this isn't parented to anything, let's parent it to the head. And then once that is done, you can tab out and we're done with the armature. Let's turn back on the face and the body. Now let's disconnect the face mesh from the hair mesh. I did go over in my last video about how to separate meshes, but I'm going to briefly narrate what I'm doing as I'm going and doing it. So we're going to click the face mesh, hit tab to enter edit mode, left click drag to unselect everything, go into our material tab, scroll down to the hair materials, which are right here. A thing I didn't do that I always recommend is labeling your material so you know what you're working with. Click on this, the black hair, the white hair, and we're going to click select, and as you can see, it's going to select that entire mesh for you. Now we're going to right click, go down to separate selection, and then we're going to tab out. Now you just label your mesh. Like that. You can label it whatever you want to label it. It does not matter. And just like that, you have your first hair on your first avatar. You can take these steps with any hair, with like the armature, and it will work the same way. Another hair is complete. And take your time, practice with it, and you should be good. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was easy for you guys to digest and understand. If you guys do have questions, I'm also going to link my Discord below. Please feel free to reach out if you have questions or you need some help on something, whether it's with my avatars or you're creating and you need some help learning some stuff. I don't mind helping at all. Alright guys, that's going to be it for me. Bye!